Torah portion. We are Parshas Vayikra, third book Vayikra, the Parshas Vayikra, and we're at the fourth reading. Yeah, you have the books over here. Pass, bring out some. Thank you. We are chapter 3, verse number 1. I'm going to speak about peace offerings. Pi'im zevach, and if it's a sacrifice, shlomim, a peace sacrifice, a festive offering, carbonite is his offering. Im mina bakar, if it's from the cattle, humakriv, that he is bringing. Im zochar, im nekeva, whether it's male or female animal. Maybe you'll let people in, please. Tamim, it has to be pure, it has to be unblemished. Yakriveno, he shall bring as an offering, lifnei Hashem, before God. Rashi, shlamim. So this is new. It comes for the word shalom, peace.
Shalom, okay.
Shlamim, right, from the word shalom.
Yeah, of course. It is peace.
Shalom aleichem, peace be unto you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why is so Rashi explains Shematilim Shalom Ba'elam, because these offerings bring peace into the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Davar Acher, alternative explanation why it's called as such, Shlamim, peace offering, Sheyesh Behem Shalom, because there's peace in them, not in the world, but in them. How? The Mizbeach, for the altar, the Kahanim, and for the Kohanim, the Bailim, and for their owner, the one who brings it. Right. In other words, all receive a portion. Right. When is there lack of peace? When you get and I don't get. Right? Then there can be lack of peace.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get and I get and God gets, then we're all happy. So over here, the altar gets, because there's parts that go onto the altar. Right? So heaven is happy. Right? The Kohen gets a piece, and also the one who brings it, which is not the case in many of the sacrifices that we spoke about till now, that the owner doesn't get a portion. It would be only the, either if it's an ascent offering, then the whole thing is on the altar. Only God gets, right? Kohen doesn't get. If it's a sin offering, so then the Kohen also gets, but the owners don't get. But here the owners also get. So therefore, that's another reason why it creates peace. Okay. Okay. So now continuing with this offering, v'samach yadei, and he will place his hands al reish karbanai, on the head of his offering, v'shachat b'pesach shachatai, and he will slaughter it pesach el mayid, at the entrance of the tent of meeting, v'zarka b'nei Aaron. So if you noticed, till now it was he, meaning the one who's bringing the offering, right? Which is a non-kohen, so he could slaughter it, right? But at this point it says, and shall sprinkle b'nei Aaron, the sons of Aaron, a kohanim who are kohens, es adam, the blood, al mizbeach sabib, on the altar around, right? So in other words, the kohen has to do that, but prior to that, it can be done by a non-kohen. Okay? Rashi, I mean, we already had that previously, so Rashi doesn't spell that out here because we know that. Verse number 3, Vayikra, and he will bring mizevach hashlamim, from the offering of the peace offering, Ishe la Hashem, a fire to God. It's a chelev, so what's he going to put on the fire? He's going to put the fats. Hamechasa, that covers, is a kerev, the covering the innards. V'es kol hachelev asher ala kerev, and all the fat that is on the innards. Not just covering, but on it. Rashi, es kol hachelev. So what does that mean? all of the fats. This includes the fat that's on the stomach. According to the opinion of Rabbi Yishmael. Rabbi Akiva, on the other hand, says they include the fat that's on the small intestines.
Mhm. Mm.
Okay. So we have the debate over here.
Mhm.
Okay, number 4. And the two kidneys, and the fat that is on the kidneys, that are also on the flanks.
Mhm. Mhm.
And the diaphragm, ala kaveh, that's on the liver, ala kloyes, that is along with the kidneys. Yisirena, remove it. Rashi in 4.
Mhm. Loss.
Haksolim, the flanks. In Old French is flanks.
Mm.
Sha'achelev she'ala kloyes, for the fat that's on the kidneys. Kishahabehema chaya, when the animal is alive and standing up. Hu begoiva haksolim, it's in the upper part of the flanks. Behema lamata, and the kidneys are below, in the lower position than the fat. This is the fat that's under the loins. Shekairin balaz, it's called in Old French, lombels. Loiven hanira lamaila. It has a whiteness that's visible at the top. On the upper part is visible, its whiteness. Megeva aksolim, at the upper part of the flanks. Betachnitisei habaseh chayfehu, and the flesh covers it, this fat, at the lower part. So
Who does this? The person or the cone?
this part is the kohen, right? This is the part that's going on the altar.
Mhm. The burnt offering.
No, we're speaking about a peace offering here.
Hmm?
No, this is a peace offering we're talking about.
A fire offering is a peace offering? Okay, gotcha.
No, fire means it goes on the fire of the altar. Hayeser, the diaphragm. Hu doifen hamasach. This is a wall that acts like a partition. Shekerin, that's called in Old French ebrei. Of a Lashon Arami, and in Aramaic language, it's called Chitzra de Chavda, the courtyard of the liver. Okay, Ala Kaved. We're getting here a lesson on the anatomy of an animal. Yeah.
That was Finnish.
Ala Kaved, with the liver. She told me, na Kaved ima ma'at. You should take a bit of the liver along with it. Not all the liver is burnt. But elsewhere it says, is the Yisir mina kapi, diaphragm from the liver. In other words, something from the liver, not all of the liver. With the liver, with the kidneys. This means levad, mina kavod levad, mina kloyes. Synonym lezu, aside from the liver and aside from the kidneys, should remove the diaphragm. All right. You need a pictorial for this to get it clearer, but we ain't getting it right now. Okay, verse number 5. Viktiru, I say, and you should burn and they should burn it, Bnei Aaron, the sons of Aaron, Amizbecha, on the altar, Al Ha'ela. Al Ha'ela means upon the ascent offering, meaning this is in addition, after the regulatory obligation of bringing a communal daily offering, right? This is in addition. Asher al ha'etin, that is upon the wood. Asher al ha'ish, which is of the on the fire. Yisher reach nichayach la'Hashem, it is a fire, pleasant fragrance to God. Al ha'ela, so the word means upon the ascent offering. So Rashi explains, it's the choice of words means milvada, that means aside from the oila offering that we've learned about, the daily offering, shetikdam oilas tamid, that what it's saying, when it's saying upon it, means after it. So first comes the daily regular ascent offering that is done on behalf of the community. Chol korban alamaracha. So this comes after it on the arrangement of wood on the altar. So what we spoke about was if you brought your peace offering from cattle. Now we're speaking about if you're bringing it from sheep, from a flock, right? So iminatzayin karbanai is his offering, is his sacrifice. Lezevach shlamim laHashem, to slaughter a peace offering to God. Zocher and nekeva, tamim yakrivenu, a male or female, he has to bring it unblemished. Okay, the im kesef umakriv. So if he's bringing a sheep, umakriv, right, it's karbanai, his offering. He krivayis lifnei Hashem, and he has to bring it before God. So tzayin is a word for all different types of a flock of different types of sheep and goats. It can be anything, right? As opposed to cattle. Kesef is specifically, so Rashi says in 7, Im kesef, if the offer is a sheep, lefishi yeshbe ein moria kesef, because there's things among the parts of the sheep for the burning on the altar, which is not a part of the goats, right? Not part. In other words, in the previous verse, it spoke about anything in that family, which is sheep and goats. Now we're specifically speaking about sheep, because there's something more in the sheep. So he explains, because with the sheep, the tail is offered on the altar. That's why the peace offering of the sheep and the goat are divided into 2 separate verses. Verse number 8. And he shall place his hands on the head of his offering. And he'll slaughter it before the tent of meeting. And he will spritz, he will dash the sons of Aaron, its blood, on the altar all around. So Vizarkai, Rashi says he will dash. What is the dash day? Matanas Shem Arba. 2 dashes that they become 4. Well, how so? Because he's doing the corners. If you do a corner and you dash on the corner, so you get 2 sides, right? So 2 dashes means, and that's what it means all around the altar, right? The al yedei akli huzarik, and it has to be done through a vessel. And he doesn't use his finger except for a sin offering. Okay, here he's dashing it.
Please.
No, he doesn't place it with his fingers. That's the point. He dashes it with the vessel, takes the vessel and throws, right? That's the point. Okay, verse number 9. Yikriv mizevach hashlamim, and then he'll offer from the slaughtered peace offering, Yishel Hashem, that is a fire offering to God. Chelba alya. So here he says, right, the fat of the tail. Tmimim lumasa ha'etza yiserenu. Right, that you remove it from. I don't think so.
You must remove the whole tail, removes it, not just the fat. The entire tail.
And then for the choicest part of the entire tail, right? That's Tamima the lumas ha'etza, from the kidneys. Yisirena, you should remove it. And the fats that are covering over the innards. And the fat that is on the innards. Rashi chelboy mufcha shaboy umahu the al yatmima. So the choicest part, so what is that? Rashi says it's the entire tail. So the entire tail is the choicest part, which is, Rashi has to explain that because that would not be the natural, right, understanding. The umasa eitza, that means l'mayla min hakloyas hayotza, from above the kidneys to give counsel. So before they were called kloyas, we called them kidneys. Here they're called eitza, which comes from the word giving counsel. The kidneys give counsel. How do they give counsel?
What's the link?
Huh?
What's the link between kidneys and?
Well, how do you give counsel? When you know how to separate from one thing and another, what do kidneys do? They separate.
Separate the blood.
Right, the good stuff from the bad stuff, right? They know how to separate good from bad, right? That's good advice, right?
Wonderful.
So that's why they're called advice, right? So Varashi is just explaining not to make a mistake and think, what it's reference to. It is the kidneys, okay? Because again, kidneys, look at verse number 10, and the two kidneys, usually they're called kloyes, kidneys, right? In the previous verse, they were called eitza. So the two kidneys, and the fats that are upon them, and the flanks, and the diaphragm, there's ala kaved, there's along the liver, ala excuse me, together with the kidneys. Yes, you should remove them. First, number 11, viktirai, and you should burn them hakayin the kayin hamizbecha on the altar. Lechem ishela Hashem, they are a food for the fire of God, to God rather. Okay, so what does this mean over here? I don't recall if we had this term yet. Lechem, food for God, right? I think we have had it. I don't recall it. I don't think we've had it in this parsha. So Rashi explains, Lechem Yishel Hashem, it's a food of fire for Hashem, Lachme Shalesh, a food of fire, L'Shem Gavoya, in the name of the one who is on high. So the verse should not be understood that as food, a fire offering to God, because God doesn't eat food, but but that's a source of my contentment, that I have spoken and you fulfilled my will. God doesn't need right? But what he wants is the contentment in the fact that we fulfilled his will. Lechem, next Rashi, food, right? Lashem Michael, an expression of food in general. V'chein nishchas ha'etz belachmai. Similarly, we find that the word lachmai, right? Let us put poison in his food, right? Just giving a similar instance that it means food, as opposed to bread, right? Lechem usually we would translate as bread, but it means in this context food. Avad lachem rab, made a great meal. These like aisim lechem. For Reveille, they make a meal. Okay. Right? Instead of meaning bread, it means food. The im is carbonite. So now we separate. Remember, we said we started off with the word soin. Soin is a general term for a flock of either sheep or goats. Then he went into specifically sheep. Now he's going right. And what was unique about sheep? What do you offer uniquely about sheep? The tail, exactly. And the goat, you don't offer the goat's tail. Guess why? Guess why? He doesn't have a tail. Okay. Bimeis carbonite, and if it's a goat, his offering, Vayikra b'lifnei Hashem, and he has to bring it before Hashem. V'samech is yad, and he places his hand on Rish, he places on its head, V'shachad, and he slaughters it lifnei Yomai before the tent of meeting, right? V'zarka b'nei Aaron is done by all the mizbeach saviv, and the sons of Aaron, they dash its blood on the altar around. How many dashes? Two that are four, right?
Two on four sides.
No, well, two that are four, right? Two dashes that are four, and how does he do it with his finger?
No.
With a vessel, right? Straight from the right, as we learned. Okay, and he'll offer from it his offering, a fire offering to God, and the fat that is covering over ala kerev on the innards, and on the fats ala kerev that is on the innards. And we had a debate on this from Rabbi Yishmael, Rabbi Akiva, right? But it's just repeating the same thing, right? And the two kidneys, Allah chaylev, and the fats asher alayhim that are upon them, asher Allah ksolim that are on the diaphragm. Allah ksolim on the flanks, not the diaphragm. It's a yeseris is the diaphragm. Allah kaved that is together with the liver. There's a kloyes yiserenu Allah kloyes, and together with the kidneys yiserenu, they shall be removed. The iktiram, and you shall burn them, the kohen on the altar, lechem. So here we have lechem again, food, a fire, food, right? Food as fire. L'reich nechoyach has a pleasant fragrance, kol chelav l'Hashem, of all the fat that belongs to God. This is an eternal statutory law, right? Oila means eternal. Chukas is a statutory law. There is for all your generations, and all of your settlings and all of your habitations, called chaylev, all fat, the whole dam and all blood. I say, chaylu, you shall not eat, you shall not consume. Chukas saylam Rashi yof and footage v'teres kahanim kol laposuk hazeh. This entire verse is well expounded in Teres Kahanim. Oh, that's very nice. Why does Rashi have to tell us that?
This is where kosher comes from.
No.
Not the blood, you can't eat blood?
No.
Okay. That's another commandment? Okay.
First of all, it's only about blood. That's not all kosher is blood, right?
Yeah, but that's what I meant. Kosher is a lot more than just not having blood. Absolutely. The part of the kosher
Okay, let's see the Rebbe on. Let me just start. Okay, you ready? This is a bit lengthy. Didn't look at it yet, but let's go to verse 3, beginning. Remember, we brought down a debate between Rabbi Shmuel and Rabbi Akiva, right, on the words "V'eskol hachelev," because it seemed repetitive, right? The verse. It says, "Take all the fats that are covering the innards." Then it says, "Take the fats that cover the innards and all of the fat asher al haker." It changes the words a bit, that are on the innards. And we had, what does this mean? All. What does that to include? So Rabbi Yishmael says that it includes. Oh, what is this word over here? Aboma sum. What is aboma sum? Rabbi Akiva says it's upon the fat that's on the small intestines. Ooh la la. You have any? Is that the translation you have there? Huh? What? Yeah. What is that? But yes.
So added to just the fat upon the small intestine.
So I have over here another translation on the stomach. So there's the stomach and the small intestines. So
It says there's the fourth stomach of a ruminant. What? The fourth stomach of a ruminant, which receives food from the ovasum and passes it to the small intestine.
Okay. So this debate, Rashi already brought in Parashat Tzitzava, when we spoke over there of in Parshas Tzitzava a few weeks ago, with the the days, the Yemei Miluim, the 7 days of practice, right? The practice run before Rosh Chodesh Nisan. So it says there on the verse, "V'lekachta is ha'ayil v'achile v'alya," and you will take the ram, ayil is a ram, the fats of it. And then there it says chelev, chelev, the fat, zeh chelev hadakim v'oikeva. So there he brings the debate. Is it mean the stomach or the small intestines? But there's two different ways that he brings it. Parshas Tzitzaveh, not sure I get this 100%. Parshas Tzitzaveh, he brings Rabbi Akiva's opinion first, and then Rabbi Shmuel. Here it brings the other way around. In Parshas Tzitzaveh, he doesn't bring the names of who the debaters are, but here he does. Rabbi Yishmael, Rabbi Akiva. Follow? So what's the difference?
Like me over there, it sounds like he brings the arguments, but not the authors.
Exactly.
Oh.
Okay.
That comes in. Yeah.
I have to look more into this. I don't have clarity.
Says that Abu Musam is the true stomach.
True stomach,
The true stomach.
The fourth stomach.
That is the
many
true
stomachs.
stomach. Because remember these ruminants have 4 stomachs.
It's the last of the process. It takes up the finer things finally. It's the last of the process of digestion.
That's what he thought of.
Okay, I'm going to go to something else. It's not Rashi. It's actually Rambam. So we said in verse 16, Kol chelav la'Hashem. All fats go to God. Meaning all the best goes to God. So the Rambam writes, anybody who wants to be meritorious for themselves, they should bend their Yetzer Hara, their evil inclination, and bring his offering from the best, from the best of the best of that particular category of animal. As the verse says, Kol chelav la'Hashem, that all of the fats, meaning the best, go to God. So we need to understand. Why is the Rambam in the midst of Kol chelav la'Hashem, that all the best goes to God? Why does he say in the term that you should choose from the best, right? In that particular that particular species, right? Well, why not from, now there's many species, so take the best species also, not just within the species. So Rebbe explains that the words the best of the fats, the best of what you have to Hashem, this mitzvah, right, comes to an expression that an individual needs to recognize the authority of God over all of creation. Hashem Aretz Moloya, to Hashem is the land and everything within it. And because of God's authority over everything, therefore a person should give to God the best that he has in his possessions. And since creation has many different types of species, some are better, more praiseworthy, and some are, more simple and lesser and deficient, relatively speaking. Also, the mitzvah of all of the best goes to Hashem is not limited only with, the best species go to God. But a person needs to recognize that God has the authority over everything, not just the best.
So how does it relate to burning fat on the altar? is the fat the best the animal can offer, and is the burning of the fat. What's the link between burning of the fat of the animal and our personal life?
Hmm?
If we offer Hashem the full best.
We're not learning Rashi here, right? Meaning to say that the simple meaning is not what we're learning right now, right? Rashi didn't say that. Rashi didn't say give the best that you have to Hashem, right? Because the simple meaning is not that. The sages derive on it, right? That there's another message that's being said over here. The best that you have, give it to God, right? Have you ever heard the expression, the fat of the land? This is where the expression comes from. What do you mean the fat of the land? Because here's speaking about fats. Literally, right? So here it's speaking about it. So Rashi's only speaking about it in the simple meaning of the text. So he doesn't say what the Rambam is saying. But our sages learn out from here, as the Rambam is quoting, right, that it means the best that you have, give it to Hashem. Now, the question is, why does the Rambam say the best of that species? Why don't you say the best of what you got? Right, that's the question that the Rebbe has on the Rambam, right? So there's nothing to do with the simple meaning of the text. Okay?
Bring to the species now.
So because God has authority and over everything in creation, every detail of creation, therefore bring the best from every specific thing, not just the general. Whatever it is, give the best to Hashem. Okay? Okay. We'll see you in a few moments.